So in one word, when you answered, actually what is happening is we need to ask this question, what do I want, in many contexts where we are confused. Very many of us do what somebody else wants us to do, and that is not what helps us eventually in life. So let's look at what does the word transformation mean. It is a change. A marked change in form, nature, or appearance, and the process by which one figure, expression, or function is converted into another one of similar value. See, that is the beauty in change. When we tell people to change, they refuse because of the word change is something we don't find it very comfortable, maybe. But transformation is like something that is much more evolving. So it is appealing for somebody to say, yeah, I can transform myself. So why is it very, very important? Because we don't have a unlimited life. Life, I don't like to say the word life is short. How long it is, we don't know. Whether it is number of years by which we talk about the limit, or number of the quality of the life that we lead. But life is not unlimited, meaning we need to realize that we have the life today. Today is the opportunity. So life is not unlimited. Second is change is natural. Whether you realize or not, it is unavoidable, constantly changing. Even if we stand still, many things change around us. Even we change internally without realizing it, maybe. So nothing is static. Everything is changing. I will not use the word for the better or for the worse, but it keeps changing. How we see the change is a very important part. If a child doesn't change, the child doesn't grow. If an employee doesn't change from the time he has been employed, he doesn't grow either, in his skills, in his knowledge, in his experience, in his contribution and productivity. So each of us need to change. Whether we realize or not, change is there. Third point is both internal and external changes. I want the world to change to suit my need, doesn't work. If I internally change, will it change my external world? Let's look at it. Because internally, if I don't change, it's very difficult for me to sustain, to face, and grow from the external changes that are forced on me, or in my life, or in my work, or anywhere. And do we initiate the change in the direction we want in our life, or we are like a boat sailing in the sea? As the wind blows, the boat goes or the ship goes? No, we need to navigate. Now, to the extent that is possible, we need to navigate. We cannot be active. We cannot be passive. Do you want to be a passive recipient of what happens because something changed in your life? Or do you want to face the change actively and make it useful for you? As I said, we cannot stop things from changing. But to go with the flow calls for a lot of flexibility, lot of understanding, lot of acceptance, lot of drive and faith. And that's what we're going to address as we go on. So let's look at the word why transformation. So ask yourself these questions. Where are you in life? Are you happy where you are? What do you want in life? Are your current activities, behavior, and attitude taking you towards what you want? Now, this is a very set of 4 questions I'm asking. This can trigger any answer. I'm sure you have a notebook in front of you, as we had given in the mail. Start noting down whatever comes to your mind, straight open, and nobody is going to see it. So be brutally honest there. Are you happy where you are? Even if you're not, can it be better? Can you do it better? Can it be even more than what you are now? Do you want to do that? These are the questions. And so why should we do that? Now we are stuck somewhere. Instead of that, we can make better choices or decisions, habits, actions, and attitudes, and reprogram our life. This is what transformation is all about. Can I reprogram my life? Yes, we can. Who will else will do it? So if we don't reprogram our life, somebody else will take over, and that's not something very comfortable. We lost independence for 300 years. Somebody was programming the whole country. That wasn't comfortable. We have struggled to come out of it, and we need to become independent emotionally as an individual, economically as an individual. So when you want to reprogram your life, that is the point you realize I need to transform my life. So next, the question is why personal transformation? I'm using the word personal because, number one, no one can change you. Only you can change yourself. And now I've been a trainer. I go to different companies, different groups to say that, hey, you can change all these things. If you change, your life will change. But over the years, it was a real truth that I realized I don't have a power to change anybody in my life, including my family members. If anybody changes during the program or because they have had a discussion with me in the counseling session or something, it is because of their own need and their own decisions. So, and I pray that that decision to change should happen when I am having an interaction with them. So no one can change you. This is very important for you to internalize, because we are very vulnerable. We think somebody can change me. Parents think I can change my child. For example, somebody calls me up and says, my daughter is fallen in love with somebody and we disapprove. Can you talk to her and change her mind? That's not my line. When parents can't do it, no one else can do. However, so no one can change you. Only you can change yourself. That is a gift that you have, that each of us have, which you can use. Second is you have enormous powers to change. Now we become powerless in front of situations. Even if it is the most dire situations, you have the power to change towards what you want. A lot of historical examples like the Holocaust survivors, books by many authors who have survived, including the man's Search for Meaning by Victor is something that is so heartbreaking to read, but that is reality. He actually didn't allow something to change him for the worse, and he used his ability of choice in order to stay alive during the experience. It is nobody's responsibility to change things in your life. You are an independent individual. Our dependency is cut the moment we are born, and the umbilical cord is cut to say that live your life on your own. Yes, we need support. We are dependent on our parents when we are children. But once we grow up, we need to be on our own and take responsibility. But what happens is, if they change, I will change. If they only have to permit me to change. If we had waited like that, India wouldn't have got independence long back. So it is nobody's responsibility to change things in life. If you're happy, fantastic. If you're not, nobody owes it to you to make your life interesting or useful or whatever. And then when you take the first step to change, you will initiate a cycle of change. For example, A shouts at B and B feels intimidated. If B decides this is not what I want and talks to A in a very calm way, A is rattled because he's always been, or she has always been, controlling the other person, and now this person talks back. It brings about a cycle of change. They cannot now relate to the person the same way because B has changed the way they respond to a threat, for example. And changing in one area influences other areas of life. Holistic development happens. For example, an individual works on their health. So when the health improves, their mental state improves, their confidence improves, their energy level improves, the productivity improves, they're happier during the day. And so one area influences the other because they are not in silos. They are not in separate segment like this is my health, this is my mind. No, it's one person. And so changing in one area influences all the other areas of life. And you have enormous potential resources unused. Now we say, in NLP, we say that, that you have all the resources you need in order to achieve what you want in life. You just have to search for it. It's like a treasure hunt. We have it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have thought about it. Something in us is choosing something to do, means there is a capacity there, which we have not captured. So you need to use every day as an opportunity to reach out and explore and use it to change your life. Every moment is an opportunity to change for the better in a way you want. Very often we go through this. I shouldn't have said it. I could have done it like this. Why did I keep quiet? I could have given back. Or I shouldn't have done the mistake. I should have stopped myself. So a lot of regrets is what people live with. And the biggest regret is I didn't get to do what I want in my life. And I'm just about to die, and that's not a regret I want to carry. But I wish I had not listened to so-and-so. I wish I had clear goals. I wish I had I wish. So today, if I have a vision, today is an opportunity for me to change for the better. Nothing like it, because that's the only thing that is possible. Not in the past, not in the future. Anubhuti, can you give me a thumbs up? How is it going? Either the digital one or the actual thumb. Because you are the only video I can see open. Thank you very much. The rest of you can give me a thumbs up. Is it going at a pace that you like? I would love to see that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Now, I love this sloka of Bhagavad Gita's chapter 6, verse number 5. Udaredatmanatmanam natmanam avasadaye atmaiva hyatmano bandhurat atmaiva ripuratmana. You are your own. Elevate yourself through the power of your mind and not degrade yourself. For the mind can be the friend and also the enemy for the self. So when we say this, I am not saying this, the Bhagavad Gita, the great script is saying this, which is a universal applicable one. And why I'm quoting this here is, have I been a friend to myself? Then I'll allow myself to grow. I will not be harsh on myself when I make a mistake. I will understand, like if a friend makes a mistake, we are so encouraged. It's okay, don't give up. It's all right. These things happen. It happens to everybody and all that we say. So we are our own friend. But if we sit and feel guilty, we kick ourselves, we punish ourselves, we feel we have left ourselves down, or we let other people down, we are being our own enemy. So this is something that I want you to internalize, that at a moment when you're disturbed, ask yourself, am I my own friend? Am I behaving like a friend or a foe? So now another chat time, get ready, please. Now this is something very, very important. The next question that I'm going to ask you is here. Why people find it difficult to change? I'll explain that as we go on. I'm going to start the next question and play button. Okay, what makes it difficult for people to change? Shoot your answers. Whatever it is, we will capture. You've seen so many people who you believe should change, or you yourself, you're finding it difficult to change. What makes it difficult for people to change? The third question, answers. It's taking time to come. Is it because of my network? I don't know. By now it should have appeared. Okay, I'm not able to capture this. Can you unmute and talk, please? I'm not going from the screen, so I can't see your chat.
Sometimes it just takes time to sync in the Zoom stream live responses. So
it should not actually.
Yeah.
No, but what is the response you've written? What is the response you've written?
Lack of knowledge.
Sorry, Anubhuti. People like to maintain the status quo because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
And lack of tools to bring in a change.
Ego.
Vijay Lakshmi says, open and speak.
Ego.
Go, yes.
This is Vijay Lakshmi, ma'am. Belief system.
Okay. Just unmute and talk one at a time. Anju, yes.
Self-acceptance, ma'am.
Okay. So I don't know why this is not capturing even one. By now it should have done, and since it has, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to the next one. Okay. Habits.
This is
here. Now we can see the answers here. Please key in, it's coming here. Fear of the unknown, resistance to change versus desire to change, safe zone, ego, conditioning, stay in comfort zone, lazy, fear of the unknown, subconscious habits, ingrained patterns, shyness, replying to the belief system, indoctrination, routine, self-confidence and self-esteem, patterns of behavior, experiences, change is an unknown territory in people, fear unknown, comfort zone, obstinacy, self-doubt, comfort zone, fear, ego, limiting belief, scared, fear, self-criticisms and doubts, fear of the unknown, their past experience, preconceived ideas, etc., ego, fear of failure, ego, lack of confidence, their comfort zone, moving out of their comfort zone. See how often people are saying moving out of comfort zone, fear of failure. I would rather suffer than come out of it. You see, fear of failure, past traumas, fear, hesitation to start, stepping out of comfort zone, fear and doubts, confusion, knowing they need to change, but no motivation to do so. Somebody has to come and motivate them. Comfortable space, procrastination. Wonderful. Now, so this question is a provocative question, because we don't realize, very often people ask me this question. You've been in the self-development line for so long. You still are going for TA study circle meeting. You're still going for hypnotic circle meeting. You're still attending training programs. And I say, that's a journey. That's a journey. And when I read the scriptures, how many times the important message is given in different forms is repeated till we internalize. So when people find it, I have just summarized a few reasons why people find it difficult to change. Habits, patterns, tendencies. I have a habit of whining. I have a habit of making mistakes and not owning it up, like that. And then identification with body, mind, and intellect. I can't, my body is like this. I have this health condition. Or my mind, I lose my temper. That's how I am. And once I lose my temper, I will say whatever I want. I don't care. Or intellect. If people don't agree with me, I don't like to work with them. These are all the common things why they find it difficult to change, for example. Hold people, things, and events or situations responsible for your misery. If only my father was like this, if only my parents had not done that, if only my husband was more understanding, if only my children were smarter, if only, if I had more money, if I had been born in a different country, or if in a different this thing, if this accident hadn't happened to me, if this event had not happened to me, if pandemic didn't happen and I didn't lose my job. So we are looking at things, events, people, things, events, and situations. They are responsible for my misery. And past events and experience where you're still stuck. I had a client. Who was an ace horse rider. She went for a competition in Delhi, and she's an NCC cadet college. And she went, and then she was thrown out of the horse and she got injured. And after that, until then, she was a brilliant girl, so capable, multiple talented, but that one incidence of failure, she got stuck there. She couldn't move out of that. How could I fall? How could I fall down? So if we are stuck in our past, the reality is we can't change what has happened. However horrendous it is, today we are alive. But that should not have happened. That is the way the past holds us today, that we can't come. And then limiting beliefs about possibilities of change. That is, you can't solve the problem, or there is no solution to this problem. Even if there is a solution, it is impossible to do it in my position. Put yourself in my position and think. And I don't have the capacity to talk back. And I'm going to give you some more examples as we go on. When we have that one thing like ability, I can't tell this to somebody. So what will happen if you tell them? I don't know. So just go tell them. Prepare yourself and go with an attitude that he'll understand or she'll understand. So there are limiting beliefs. I can't. Whenever we say I can't, we need to question that internal dialogue. What is it that you can't? Can you not learn it? Then what happens is we are opening up our resources, our own possibilities, and coming out of a. But just like in the butterfly's transformation, if you enable the cocoon, breaking it open for the butterfly to come out, helping the butterfly, it won't fly. It has to come out on its own. And so also in personal transformation, you need to take a decision and you need to work on making that small change in front of a situation where you are habituated for misery. And need for approval and please others. What will others think here? What will others? What will 4 people say? Who are the 4 people? I don't know. Everybody who tells me in Tamil, we say, 4 log kya kahenge? In Tamil, we say, 4 per enna solluva. In Hindi, we say, 4 log kya kahenge? So, we are using that as a reason for not changing because we don't know what they will think and we don't want them to think bad about us. Actually, they are so busy thinking about themselves. They have no energy to think about you, but we think that person will think about. We think we are so important that somebody is going to spend their time thinking about us. We want approval. Even if you buy something online, for example, a nice dress and you wear it and then 4 family members give 4 different opinions. And if none of them like it, you go change it and then go through the pain of returning it and buying rather than telling them, oh, you didn't like it. That's sad because I like this. We can't say that because we want to please others. That's one of the catches. What will others think or feel? What's happening is we are having a lot of noises around us. Think of the consequence. I lose control, or that person doesn't like it if he loses control. Aggregation, echoes. Oh, it will become very big. Amplify the effect. Empathy. Oh, if I don't tolerate his misbehavior, who else will? Or her misbehavior, who else will? Spaces. I can't actually talk to my father. Fear, intimidation. Which is what many of us use in order to, if you don't do this, that's what parents use a lot, and it backfires after some time. Motivation, reputation, and reward. These are some of the noises. What will happen to if you do this, what will happen? If you do that, what will happen? This is a fear that a lot of noises are there, which doesn't allow the person to think, and they forget to listen to their own inner voice. And that is where the problem comes. We are so caught up in all these that we are not able to listen to what do I want? What is my mind saying in this situation? So thoughts that hinder are, I'm sure you can relate to any of those thoughts. I'm okay the way I am. Why should I change? I'm always like that. Let him or her change. I just can't change the way I am, or I feel, or I do. Will this change guarantee results? Even if I change, nothing will change. There is no other choice but to suffer. It's all my fate. People will not like it if I change. You see, if I had not changed, I wouldn't be sitting in front of you talking about this, because if I had not changed when I did, I want to stop share for a minute, then share a few thoughts here, which is like, see, yeah. These thoughts that I listed is something that crops up automatically. We are conditioned. Remember, for example, I was always told you should be a good girl. You should earn good name for your parents after marriage. So you should be an obedient daughter-in-law and be a nice wife and a daughter-in-law. And of course, I believed my parents and I got married very early. I was lucky. And then I realized that what I want to do is something I cannot do if I want to go into the traditional daughter-in-law role. I wanted to educate myself. So I asked my mother and my father, if the proposal came, will they allow me to study? If they allow me to study, I'll get married. Otherwise, I won't. So then it was conveyed to them, and fortunately for me, my husband and his parents agreed that I can study. That is the reason why after I got married, when I was in second year BSc, I could still continue my higher studies because the family wanted me to be also a graduate. And after graduation, it was my call to study further. If I had this worried, what will the parents-in-law think? Like if the daughter-in-law wants to go to college after marriage, what will people think? A lot of people commented on it. What? After marriage, you're coming? You threatened your parents that you will get, it was an arranged marriage, but my teachers asked, the professors asked, you threatened your parents that you will run away with him. That is why they're getting you married in the third term of second year before exam. Have some sense. Anyway, so I've realized that the minute we put others as important, our life goes for a 6. Somebody decides and we don't even know whether they decided. We think they decide. We never ask them. Did you think like this? We never ask them. Whether it is parents or anybody else, we are giving so much of importance. Anju, can I lower your hand? Yeah. Okay. So I'm sharing this here because this is the biggest catch. Nobody is bothered about you. Really. When you make a life-changing decision, well, like when I decided to go for studies after 12 years after my post-graduation, after becoming a mother of 2 children, one of my nieces said, aren't you ashamed to study at this stage of your life when your children are going to school? And I was 30 plus. I said, when you come to my age, let's check notes. I'm doing it because I want to. Aren't you selfish? I say, no, I'm doing everything for my family. And this is what I'm doing for myself. I'm not cringing or compromising on anything that my family needs. I'm giving my personal story to tell you personal transformation thoughts with authenticity. We need to go through it in order for us to have the strength to bear whatever comes afterwards. And I was telling myself, this girl doesn't know life. She's much younger than me. And she doesn't know what she's talking about. Why should somebody stop themselves from doing what they want? Remember, life is not unlimited. If I don't do what I want today, when am I going to do it? For whom are we living? If women think they are living for their husbands, hello, wake up. Husbands have their own things. They have their own ways of taking care of themselves. They are not totally dependent on us. Of course, it is nice if the wife takes care, but without me, my husband won't exist. That's an illusion women have. And if without my husband's income, I cannot, then we have put ourselves in that position. We need to become independent. We believe, oh, women, like there are many people who still have to change in this society, but it is changing and it will change for the better as we go on. Yeah. Okay. So here we are. So there is no other choice but to suffer. How do we know unless we have explored? Now, these thoughts that hinder, we need to question them. Only when we question them, because it's like a matryoshka dolls, you know. What is a matryoshka doll? Inside, this is a Russian toy. Our words, our thoughts, our attitude, our habit, beliefs, and destiny in life. What you can see outside, but innermost is the one that we are talking about. What kind of words run in your head decides what kind of thoughts you have, the attitude you have, your habit that you form. Every time somebody scolds me, I get scared. That's a habit. I believe I'm not good enough. And so in the destiny, I am born to suffer. But actually, you're all born to win, born to be happy. And that is what I want to prove to you by the end of today's talk. So choices in life about, we can change any one of these which you are becoming aware of and question it. Let me give an example of someone I know very close, and she was afraid to talk. And I said, if you don't talk, you'll be taken for granted. You have to question what you're uncomfortable with. And then we had discussions. And then one day when there was a provocation, she went and told the family, if this is how you're going to treat me, I'm getting out of this family. And then things changed after that. Unless we make the choice of choosing to win, choosing to be happy, choosing to be doing what you want in life, what you believe in, we are only responsible. So we are like uncut diamonds. Each of us in this group, each of us are like uncut diamonds. We have potential. We use diamond to cut diamond. That's the most beautiful thing. So now use the power of your inner self to heal yourself. Don't give up. You don't have to go out at all to any therapist, any training. No, you have enough power within yourself. You can take the help of books, attend sessions, understand all that. But the power to change is within yourself, and you're going to use your own self to heal yourself. How are we going to do it? And why we need to do it? And this is where we go to the power. Now, I have, as I told you in the beginning of the session, I find neuro-linguistic programming fast. It is something that is it is the technology, new technology for achievement and change, which sustains. So what is neuro-linguistic programming? Is one of the tools, as I said, and I'm going to share one more as we go on. Neuro is the brain and the physiology or the habits part of it. The linguistic is the verbal and non-verbal language important for communication. And programming is the way in which we put these patterns of thinking and language and the behavior together to get results. Somebody wants her father to give her more money. Her father is a very angry person and their relationship is not good. And she writes all those things, you have been nasty to me, but I want more money. I asked her, how will he feel like giving you money if you tell him he's an angry person? What will you say that will make him give money? Think from that angle. So we are programmed to think about somebody in a certain way. We'll talk to them in that certain way, angrily, sadly, scared, whatever. So we need to change the way we are programming. So get information through our neurological processes of sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. Linguistic is using language to give meaning to our unconscious level and organizing our ideas and actions. When I say like this, it seems to be quite bewildering, but its applications are in many fields. Communication for self-expression, love, problem solving, attaining goals, and coaching. Sports, outstanding performance. A lot of sports people use NLP programming. I have one ace snooker player here, Pranit Ramchandani, and he'll vouch for it. And education, effective study methods. So many students have changed the way they perform because they change the way they look at the subject and look at themselves and the capacity to study that. More incentive, more strength and endurance. Then for sales, negotiations, meetings, and all that. For health, weight loss, smoking, phobia cure, and medical counseling, psychotherapy, hypnotherapy. One of the participants had asked, registrants had asked, does it help in psychotic? It depends upon the condition. So I do not want to say yes or no, because it depends upon what was the problem that the person had. So its applications are not just for counseling or therapy. It is for people, managers to use in order to motivate their teams, teachers to use in order to encourage the students to feel confident about studying, family members to use to have a harmonious family life, for mothers to use for their children to build confidence right from childhood, and so on. So evidence-based. Now, a lot of research has come in which proves that NLP is getting, like fast phobia cure, which is one of the techniques that are used in NLP, gives you excellent results. There are things like rewind. There are techniques that are really useful. Their principles are very powerful. It's evidence-based. And now we are getting proof from the neuroscience field also. And then we have heightened awareness of self and others. What am I saying? When I say I can't, am I really meaning that? Is that what I want? So heightened awareness of self and others. change our experience of situations and people. The minute we change the way we look at ourselves and the situation and the others, we change our experience of situations and people. Build the relationship we would like. What happens is we don't choose our relatives. We don't even choose our own parents. We don't choose our children. What we choose is only friends. We don't choose our neighbors. We walk into a neighborhood, they are there ready-made. So relationships, having good relationships is a very important part of an individual's as an individual to be peaceful with oneself and life. Why are relationships important? Because we are born to be in groups. That is, if we are born, somebody has to catch us to be alive. Another human being has to make sure that we are breathing and we are clean and then we are fed and then we are taken care of. So we are going into a system of people in a family, in a neighborhood, in a school, in a college, in a working place. Everywhere we are in groups. We go in trains, we go in cars with these 4 people, something like that. So we have relationships that are important. And if we are not having good relationships, we're pretty miserable. We are angry so much that there are people who can't get along with any neighbor. Every neighborhood has somebody like that who doesn't want to relate. They have problems. We need to have compassion for them. But building the relationship we would like. So if you want to build with somebody, you can change the way. I know one of my participants had to work very hard to change the relationship with his wife who had they had a lot of problems between them, and now they have settled down happy past 5-6 years. It works. And influence others. You want to influence them, not manipulate or take advantage of them. What do I mean by that? The influencing is when it is mutually beneficial. It's not just because I want it. Like that can never work in a work situation or in a family. You want to influence somebody. Everybody can think for themselves. So when you want to influence, how do you use words and language in a way that are appropriate and helpful for the other person to think? And create the future we want. We are limited by, if that has happened in my past, it can never happen in my future. But I can reprogram my past so my future can be different. That is a gift that we have. It's called free will. And our scriptures also say the same thing. Whatever you have done, from now, you change, your life will change. This is what the great scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads say, that the human being is the only one gifted with the ability to make a choice. And if we make that choice of, I want to live my life, like Valmiki did, he changed his life. He became such a great sage. Now, anybody can change at any point in life, right from this moment. If you decide, I want to change my life, it can change. Only you can do it. So create the future we want and overcome limitations. I'm limited by my past or by thinking about my past. If I think my past is limiting me, it will sit like a block and then not allow me to go forward. So many instances I can think of where even once a limitation is removed, why did that become a limit? And then work on it. And then you'll find that it's a gift that you're giving yourself, the liberation of doing what you want. And discover the thinking that releases our unique excellence. Each of us are unique. Isn't it amazing that there is no other living being in this whole world who is like you, who feels like you, who thinks like you, who works like you, and who, no one. We are, one of the, we say, diamond and platinum are precious. Diamond is a precious stone and platinum is a precious metal because they are available in a limited quantity. But if it is one and only, how precious we are. We never think of it like that. Every human being you see around you are all precious. Some of them don't know and they're looking like carbon, not realizing there's a diamond inside, or some of them are cut in a wrong way. So they need to be again chiseled. Self-chiseling we need to do when we want to get in touch with our own unique excellence. Unfortunately, uniqueness is not valued. It is sometimes seen as a threat. If you're unique, for example, one child said, I want to be a scientist. And this was one of the orphan children I met in one of the training programs. Immediately, everybody around him laughed. You, scientist, you can never become. How do you know? He's unique in thinking that he can become a scientist, whether he becomes or not. Right now, he wants to. Why can't we allow him that? And who knows, he might. That could be an Abdul Kalam in the budding stage. So discover the thinking that releases our own unique excellence. So when we release our unique excellence, we will see the uniqueness in others. And when someone doesn't agree, instead of getting angry, we say, hey, you have a very different perspective. Can you explain to me so I understand? That way the relationships are built. And NLP is thinking about thinking. So this is how we can realize if we change the way we think this moment, we change our life. And so now, one of the foundations I want to share here from NLP concept, because this is what is a fundamental principle or process. The world reality is only one, and then it comes in through the input channels. For example, if 5 of us see an accident, will 5 have the same version about an accident? No, each of us have our own version of the accident. So our input channels, the way we use our visual, auditory, kinesthetic is touch and movement, olfactory is smell, gustatory is taste. That's the first filter. It is impossible to get all the stimuli into our head because there is a limitation in our nervous system. So then what happens is we allow only some things which are favorable, which are familiar, which are comfortable to allow in, and then we start interpreting it by the universal human modeling process called either generalization or distortion or deletion. I'm not explaining too much about this, but this is how what comes from outside doesn't go in as it is. We alter it to make it suitable to our understanding. Oh, he's always like this. This is like, for example, distortion is, let's say, a wife tells the husband, nowadays you don't love me. What happened? No. You didn't wish me on my birthday. Last birthday, 12 o'clock, you waited and you wished. Now 1 year since you got married, and now you forgot my birthday. That means you don't love me. That's a distortion. So that means it's my personal meaning. So we distort things. This person didn't work. That means this person is not interested in working. The distortion, then deletion. We don't take up everything. We delete something that is, we believe, unwanted. So we don't listen completely. That is the second filter. The third is the language. No word can express exactly what we feel. That is where we fail. So words and language have their own limitation according to what person's meaning is, or familiarity with the language and things like that. And what happens in the end is we have our own version of reality. For example, in one of the schools, they were taking feedback. So special school, special meaning very uppity, higher end school where teachers have to get good feedback from the students. So the students said, this teacher is not good. Why? Because she doesn't like me. The teacher was shocked. What happened? She said, whenever in the class, you never looked at me. That means you don't like me. Whole year, this child has been suffering because she believed, because she didn't look at me, she doesn't like me. What she doesn't realize is when she was writing, the teacher may have looked, but she didn't know that. And she never addressed it till the last minute. The whole year she was suffering, and then this was sorted out. When I believe that this teacher doesn't love me, when I believe my parents don't love me as much as they love my sibling, my life becomes distorted. Anything I do is interpreted that way. For example, can you see, write an answer in your book. How many bars are there? If you want, unmute and tell. No chat. Unmute and tell.
4 bars.
Four.
Four.
Are you sure?
Count 3, but also 4.
So now see, in
There's
this
an optical illusion.
itself, we have 2 answers, 3 or 4, depending upon where we see it from. So Marcus Aurelius, with his beautiful quote, everything we see is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. If we can internalize this, then we'll be more open to. So the moment we internalize this, that I have a right for an opinion, the other person has a right for the opinion. And so I need to learn to listen to that person to understand where they're coming from, and then we change. So this person who is saying 4 can move to physically to the other person, which means you're willing to see the other person's perspective. 90% of the problems in life will be solved. So what is important also to realize is this map that I talked about is the only thing that guides you. You are everywhere. There is nothing that you can experience without involving you. Anything and everything, it has your perspective. Now, why is this important to realize and own? It is the way I see it, the way I think about it. It is the way I feel about it. I'll give you a perspective here for a minute. A relative family of ours who were struggling in life, and we had visited them, and we went out for an evening. I bought ice creams, and in my opinion, ice cream is something that makes everybody happy. So I gave them cone ice cream, and I took my cone ice cream, and I was busy licking my ice cream, and I found that they were not eating. And I asked them what happened. They were crying. And I wondered, what did I do to make them cry with an ice cream? And then she said, I've never bought ice cream for my children. How can I eat now? Very valid question. But the reality is the ice cream is melting. Children are at home, 15 miles apart. So I said, oh, that's a very important point. So let's do one thing. For my sake, you eat this. For your sake, we'll buy on near the house, and they will also have ice cream. And to bargain with them, because once I understood where they're coming from, instead of saying, don't be silly, it's like discounting their feelings. Even in a simple thing, if we learn to shift our perspective, we'll have less tension in life. So there is nothing that you can think about. Anything you see, it is your view, it is your reading, your understanding, your contribution, your whatever. So when that is the thing, what is it that I'm doing with myself in order to be happier is something that we need to consider. So with these few inputs on from NLP, I'm just introducing you to that, because once we realize the only reality that we are, okay. So how do we know how to utilize this presence? Okay. Now, I said in the beginning, we have a powerful self within us. How do we know that? Let's now look at that. Each of us are in 3 states. Either we are awake. We are awake. We know we are awake. And then when you're sleeping, we dream. We think the dream is real. Then we get up and say, oh, thank God it is only a dream. Then we know the dream is not real. And then when we sleep well, for example, ask yourself, did you sleep well last night? For those of you who got an answer, yes, I slept well last night. How do you know? Who sat and saw that you were sleeping well? Sure, I slept well. How? How do you know? So there is a self inside seeing us all the time. That is a self I'm referring to. This is the powerful self silently watching what you're doing, messing with your life or missing life or being jovial in your life, happy in your life. It is a matter of choice. This self is what we need to connect to. And so let's see what happens typically. Okay. We have this habits, patterns, tendencies, and this is called vasanas. Okay. Conditioned experience. This is my big takeaway from my entire last 1 year of learning, which is like people don't change because they're habituated, they're conditioned. So when they're conditioned, they don't think that there is another way of thinking, another way of doing, another way of this thing, which could give better results. So then this conditioned experience is on our body, mind, and intellect. So this is called the BMI, not the body mass index. It's called the body, mind, and intellect. Either I'm thinking I always am overweight. Yeah, we use these words. I had a mindset that I'm a very angry person. I was a female version of Amitabh Bachchan's angry young woman. As an adolescent, I was a rebellious, angry person. Later in life, I realized why I was that way, and then I changed. If I had not changed my mind about who I am, who I thought I was, I couldn't have progressed in life. I would have been a very miserable person, making everybody miserable around me. Even intellect. Sometimes people don't listen to each other. Somebody gives an opinion, he doesn't listen. So I don't want him in my team. So intellect, I like people who say yes to me in mind. So my intellect limits me, my mind and my mindset. So that is a subject of experience. What happens is we think of ourselves as perceiver, feeler, thinker. That is a role we attribute and we are stuck on that. This is how I perceive, this is how I think, this is how I feel. Like we have Salman Khan dialogue. एक बार मैंने decide कर लिया तो फिर मैं खुद की बने सुनता. That's a mindset. We all have mindset. I can never do that. I can never do this. I am always like this. I'm born like this. The joke is when the father sees the son angry, he says, oh, he's my son. I can very well see it. There is no genetic connection between father's anger pattern and the son's pattern. We learn by observing. We think that's the only way. This is why in research has they have found that an abuser's son becomes an abuser. An abuser's daughter becomes a victim of abuse because they think that is normal. Unfortunately, same way with alcoholics. So please, when we look at people having unhealthy habits, it didn't come overnight. It's come from somewhere. We need to go there and change the programming. So what happens is we have all these about our objects, emotions, thoughts, and object of experience. So all these are in this zone. We are stuck in our objects, emotions, and thoughts. Day in, day out, we get up in the morning and say, oh God, I have to go for my work. That's an emotion. That is a thought that I have, which creates emotion of impatience. And I'm holding somebody, my boss, uska chehra dekhega to mujhe nahi kuch ho raha hai. If I see my boss's face itself, I have no motivation. Something like that we think. Or a child gets up and says, I don't want to go to school because the teacher will scold me. So what is happening is we are so caught up in all these that we forget the self there driving us. Now the self is quietly watching, waiting for you to calm down so it can surface. And the beauty of this is no one else can access this. Only we can access it. We only have the key to reach inwards. What do I mean by that? Somebody else cannot influence my inner self. I need to find it myself. This is one of the most beautiful learning, and each person's journey is unique, special for them. They can design it for themselves. So instead of spending our time being a perceiver, feeler, and thinker, for example, I did a mistake. I shouldn't have done. So I hit myself. My daughter says, Amma, don't hit yourself. This used to be my habit. That means if I do a mistake, I should punish myself. I should feel bad. I should sulk. The next half an hour, I will be very angry. Like one of the HR managers said, ma'am, when I get angry, first thing in the morning when I come at 9 o'clock, I'm angry for 1 hour. So nobody will bring their files for signatures because I'm angry. So my secretary will come and peep and then say, sir, can I get you coffee? And then she'll bring the coffee. I'll drink the coffee. And after 10-15 minutes, I'll become calm. Then she will allow people to bring the files for. Otherwise, if they bring before my anger is gone, I'll throw the files. Now, he's an aware man, 50 plus, very powerful, very knowledgeable, but unable to get out of his thinker, feeler mode. So when we are caught in the conditioned behavior, we are losing out the precious gem inside. That is our self, pure self. And it's like, okay, now the question comes, how do we know such a self exists? Okay. Now, all of us know our body, mind, and intellect is there. We know our body is there. We are feeling, we are thinking, we know that. But what makes these things work is something we have not thought about. Just like when we look at the bulb, we all know the bulb structure. Okay. We only have different types of bulbs all over the world. But when the bulb glows, there is electricity. The electricity is common all over the world. And there must be something underneath that bulb for it to glow, no? That is life for us to glow, to grow, to develop. So just like the bulb has electricity, which is common all over the world, we have life, which is common all over the world, regardless of which part of the world somebody is coming from, which religion they come from, which faith they come from, whether they are believer or not believer. Doesn't matter. But there is life. As long as there is life, there is scope. If there is no life, no body, no mind, no intellect, all gone. So until, like marte dam tak, till we have the last breath, we have hope. We can change. Ravana changed in the last minute, just before dying. So we have, this is beautifully explained in our scriptures, and we have lost it out completely. It's time to recapture them, because once we realize I have my life, which is within me, I need to take ownership for that. I won't mess with my head. I won't mess with others. So then personal transformation becomes easier. So what do you identify yourself with? We ask this question. Hi, I'm so-and-so. That is my name I identify myself with. Sometimes people say, hello, I am Saraswati. Okay. You know, I'm diabetic. So I say, when you say I'm a woman, I agree. I say I'm Saraswati. Okay. But I am diabetic means what? You have diabetes is different compared to I am. That means this person is identifying with their problem in the health. I'm a very temperamental person. See, positives are also that I'm confident. Good. So hold on to those labels which are helpful to us and drop the ones that are not helpful. Believe me, when you drop it, it is not easy. Others will remind you. The biggest struggle was to convince my mother I have dropped my anger persona. Until she died, she used to believe, you are very angry. Because she had a mindset about me. And I had behaved like that when I was young. But as I grew, and then she'll say, yeah, you are now different. However, you have that little bit of anger in you. So when we look at dropping perceptions, we need to choose. So what perceptions do you have that are helpful, productive, and towards what you want? When you list it out, you'll be amazed at how much of capacity you have. And that can trigger and use one more. Instead of wasting time in identifying ourselves with unhelpful perceptions about ourselves, like I was like it, I'm glad, I'm grateful to life and process that I change. I'm sharing this to say that anyone can change if they desire to change. So even here, I like to quote here, Bandhuratmat manastasya enatmai vatmana chitaha. Anatmanastu shatrutve varte tatmaiva shatruvat. For those who have conquered the mind, is a friend. Those who have failed to do so, mind works like an enemy. I mean, look at it. What is this we're talking about? Managing our emotions, managing our relationships. Every moment, where am I? Am I choosing to be happy? Am I choosing to be in control of myself? I can be upset, but I need not show it in a destructive way. A young boy who was brought to me for counseling, he wanted, he was addicted to, I'll take a moment here. He was addicted to games. So his mother would change the password of the Wi-Fi so he cannot access the games. And one day when she refused to give him the password, he went into the bathroom, shut himself, and took a bucket and cut it into 100 pieces, screaming all the time. He was so angry that he tore a bucket to 100 pieces. 45 minutes of agony in the family. Open the door, open the door. Oh, he was absolutely. And she went abroad. She went outstation for a day for a program. And she had changed the password. And he said, if you don't give me the password, now I'll burn the house. So people can have tendencies which are so unproductive. How did they develop that? Children are not born that way. Somewhere they have learned the wrong way. We need as adults to teach our children how to be. We need as friends help each other come out of misery. We need as family members be there for each other's development and not to push down. And then we will find that we have such a powerful self within us which we could utilize in order to influence ourselves and people around us. Lux, I'm going to give one more exercise. I hope the system works. This is to the Stream Alive team. So
yeah,
here we are.
Sriram is there.
Sure, and if there's an issue, we'll help you out with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will, yeah, the only reality I can possibly know is the world as I perceive it at this moment. The only reality you can possibly know is the world as you see it at this moment. And the only certainty is that those perceived realities are different. There are as many real worlds as there are people. So actually there is no real world. For me, what I see is real. For you, what you see is real. Is the real worth it? Hold on. If not, change your reality. This is Carl Rogers, one of the greatest minds in the last century. And what is the way ahead? Okay. What do I do having attended? Some of the thoughts that we can change. I'm responsible for, please read with me aloud. I'm responsible for my thoughts, feelings, actions, and consequences of them. The minute I say that, I don't say you make me angry. I like to share an experience here. One of my self-development programs, the instructor said, write down things that make you angry, and I wrote 18 things. And then I went and told, these are the things that make me angry. He said, now say, I choose to be angry when these things happen. I said, nothing doing. I am not responsible. These people are. So he said, think about it. It's like you are a puppet. They have the remote. I can make you dance. If I do all those things, you'll become angry. Jump, angry, jump. Is this what you want? Whole night I didn't sleep. I realized that I've given my remote to an unknown auto driver who tells me a lie or cheats me. So I realized when an auto driver cheats, I get angry. So I had written there. So where have I given the control of my life? Oh my God. So the minute I become responsible for it is a very staggering thought. When I'm nasty and I say, you are responsible for my anger, it's comfortable. When I say, I am responsible for my nastiness, it hurts. That's where we grow. And transformation is continuous. It's not like, okay, you've transformed from today, you're a different person. No, it's continuous. Even a butterfly has to go from flower to sustain. It's continuous. Strive to change till you get what you want. Sometimes I meet my participants and say, how's life? See, immediately after the program, it was very nice. And after that, if you haven't practiced, how will you get what you want? Till you get what you want, you have to keep changing. Otherwise, there's no guarantee things will change. If I change, other things have to change. With me, it's not going to happen. I go make change everywhere. Then it'll get. Positive intention behind every behavior. This is the most toughest presupposition of NLP, which is like, we need to learn to see a positive behavior behind every behavior. Let me share a story here. There was a Chinese village which had a medicine man, a kind of a person who could generate medicines for many things. And there was this young daughter-in-law who came and told him, my mother-in-law is a horrible person. I want to kill her. So give me a poison which will be slow. So this medicine man said, okay. And he gave. And then he said, I want to tell you one thing. You don't go and give immediately, but from now, when you're giving this poison, when you're giving this, be nice to her. So then tomorrow, if she dies, people won't, everybody knows you don't get along with her. But start being nice with her so that eventually, when she dies, you won't be held responsible. Okay? So she said, yeah, that's a good idea. So she went, and after 1 month, she came running back. And she said, give me something else because I've given her poison. I actually now realize my mother-in-law is not that bad. So give me some other medicine, which I will go and I need to save her now. He said, no, I never gave you poison. I just gave you some tonic. Now go live your life. If it is possible to see the positive intention behind a mother-in-law's comment, you won't be angry in that relationship. Very important relationship in life. If you can see the positive intention behind the criticism the boss is doing towards you, the teacher is giving. I remember when I was in my master's degree, I wrote an assignment in one of my social work. The paper was on social work. The teacher, she came and she gave everybody their papers and she dropped mine on the table and she said, this is Sumathi's paper. She's full of talk, no work. Open insult, sixer assault. The whole class, I put my head down and I was crying because I felt insulted. After this class, I swallowed my pride. I went to the staff room and I said, ma'am, can I come in? She thought I'm going to come and fight with her because I'm that aggressive type. I was. She said, what? I said, ma'am, I wrote according to BSc level. It looks like it is not enough. So can you teach me how to write my master's degree level? So she said, okay, sit down. And she taught me how to do it. And I followed that. The next assignment, everybody submitted 25 sheets. I submitted 125 sheets. She again comes, gives everybody. And then she drops mine on the table and says, this is Sumathi's assignment. This is what I call as an assignment. Wow, I felt. If I didn't see the positive intention behind her telling me that mine was no work, I couldn't have grown. After 22 years, 98 passed. Let me recall 1 minute, please. 78. After 22 years, when I finished my PhD, I called her for my Viva. And she came. And she said, why are you calling me? I'm only a social studies teacher, works teacher. I said, ma'am, you are the one who taught me how to write an assignment. And that is what has given me the knowledge and the ability to write my thesis. So I am ever grateful to you. You will ask me, even now I struggle with some of the behaviors of human beings, which I find very difficult to find a positive intention. But by and large, we live in a life where this is possible. So you can look at positive intention. Suddenly you will shift in your perspective. And there's no failure, only feedback. If Edison had not followed that, he wouldn't have discovered the bulb. Now you have the power within you. That is what is the most important message I want to give this evening, because how will I change here? Where will I get extra? Now, I underwent a surgery 3 months back and I'm recovering from that. So I'm still holding my leg up because it's a knee replacement surgery. I'm keeping it up to give myself the rest. And I'm sharing this is if I where did I get that example? Okay, if I did not think that I have the power within me to face that surgery, I wouldn't have gone through. It's not very comfortable to go through. If each of us don't realize I have the power within me, nobody's going to give. Yes, now I remember. So the doctor said, you are gone through surgery, you have to take protein supplements. So my body lacks protein, and to heal and to repair, it needs protein. So I drink protein, I take paneer, I take tofu, This is what has been given additionally. Like that, you can't take internal power. It has to come from within. And for that, you have to quieten your mind. You have to stop telling rubbish to yourself. You have to stop doing things that hurt you. And then you will find it is easy. This is where NLP helps, because NLP is very fast. NLP is quiet. And in the neuro-linguistic programming process, we don't share the content. What is disturbing me, I need not share with people. But the facilitator can help me change the way I see it. And then nurture independence. Take back remote control. If we say someone is doing something to me, it's very scary. It's like you take an auto and the auto driver says, I'll go where I want. You will jump out of the auto. Even now, when I get into an auto, I sit in the edge so that I can jump out at any time. Because that is the way we sometimes think about others. And so nurture independence. If you can't do something, see how much you can do. We are an interdependent world. Nobody is totally independent. We are in an independent world. So we can actually value our independence, value other people's independence, and when necessary, support each other. No. Oh, no. Yeah, action points. Identify what blocks you. My temperament, my body, my overweight, whatever it is, it can be changed. The one thing that we cannot change is the skin texture, color, height. Cannot change. Rest of the body you can change. And desire to get out of stuck state problem. Don't keep saying 20 years back this happened to me and I'm stuck there. And so change your story. Somebody asks, hi, where are you from? I'm from this place. So say something about yourself. They say, I wanted to be an engineer. Like it happened to one of my participants. He was morose in the program. I asked him what happened. He's a youngster. Second day I asked him, you don't seem to be liking what is happening in the program. Tell me what. He said, ma'am, you're asking us to write our goals. I wanted to be a pianist. My parents didn't allow me to be. I became an engineer. Okay, I'm happy I became an engineer because I'm an only child. My parents' dream was for me to become an engineer. But I lost my goal. And I have put it all in the ground and I have buried it. And now you're asking me to dig it again. I asked him, what is your problem? They didn't allow me to be a pianist. What is stopping you now? You are an engineer. You are earning on your own. What is stopping you now from becoming a pianist? He said, what do you mean? It's little too late. It's never too late. You want to play piano? Yes. Next, he says, I don't have a piano. Okay. So go to a piano shop and tell them that you will play for them. Then customers come so they can hear lovely music when they'll feel like buying piano. What do you think? That can be done. I said, one more thing you can do. Go offer your services to a 5-star hotel which has an atrium and a piano. Go play them. They'll say, live music. You earn some money also. What do you say? So when we take charge, this is where the films like Bucket List now became popular. If you don't do what you want today, don't wait for old age to do it. It is not comfortable to do it then. Choose to change till you get the results we want. I mentioned this already. Identify with the part that wants to heal and develop. I want to get rid of this problem. Look at that one more often than the one that is blocking. Then this will become stronger and this will become softer, lighter, weaker. And use powerful inner self within self. What do I mean by that? Every day you need to spend some time with this friend inside you. Get up in the morning. What is the first thing you tell? Many people tell themselves when they get up first thing in the morning, oh shit, I'm late. Okay, you need to shit, that's a different thing. But oh my God, I'm late. So they don't say, oh my God, I'm late. So this is how we curse ourselves when early morning when you get up. What are the first thoughts you have? Change from there. Then say, thank God I'm alive today. Or what when you go to sleep? Actually, do you know, when we are in deep sleep, we are as good as dead. Because we don't know who we are. There is no ego there. There is no consciousness there. We don't know where we are. Only the inner self knows we are sleeping. That is the reason why it is a crime to wake up somebody who is in deep sleep, because they are with their self. Anyway, so the powerful inner self you can evoke with so many ways. How? Meditation, knowing about it, giving respect to your own thoughts, working continuously on yourself, refining yourself as a human being, and doing your best to understand life and processes, accept challenges and changes as they happen. Meditation is one of the tools. If you're not the type who meditate, whatever you do, you surrender and do. Long back when I learned that surrendering is something very powerful. In 1993, when I became spiritually awakened, I can say, I offered every training program of mine, including today's session, as an offering to the supreme power within and around me. To be with me in my words, in my thoughts, in my action, and to be with my listeners in their thought and action. And may they listen to what they need to listen from the universe for their own betterment. This is the prayer I've been having the past 40 years. And it works because I don't feel stressed about where am I reaching in my training, for example. So what do we change? Change the way we perceive. So if your view is not good, like we change our glasses, change the way we perceive. Change unhelpful distortions, deletions, generalizations about the past, present, and the future. Past you can't change, future we look forward to it, at present you change, then your future is better. Change the way we take care of ourselves. Meaning, eat. As a counselor, first question I ask my clients is, do you sleep well? 99% don't sleep. That is why they are disturbed. The disturbance doesn't allow them to sleep. Do you sleep well? Do you eat well? No. Do you play? No. Do you go out? No. What do you do? I watch computer. All the time I'm sitting and watching, or I'm brooding, I'm sleeping. Long hours of sleep is not good. Necessary amount of sleep is very, very healthy. But change the way we're taking care of ourselves. First, you should eat on time, sleep well, and then interact with people, work and play. And do inner practices if you're an adult, like meditation or reading a book or attending meetings or going and singing. What suits your temperament, you do. There is no one way. That is what is so beautiful about our scriptures. There is a book called Narada Bhakti Sutra. And in that, he describes how can you reach the Supreme Lord within yourself, different ways. But ultimately, it is a surrender and it is an acknowledgement that I have that within me. I have the Chaitanya within me. Every religion talks about the power of the inner self in different names. If we can only identify that there is no threat for anybody from anybody else in this world, all of us are born to be happy and successful. So now comes the question, what will you do for your personal transformation journey? And here I'm going to start the stream alive again so that we'll be able to capture your answers quickly. And play. So enter into your chat box. That's good. This is what I was missing in the previous question, Lux.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but glad it's working now.
No, but then the list we got.
Yep.
The list we got. So everybody's
Nice.
response was captured and we could read it out. Yeah.
Yep.
Write down. Nobody is going to know who wrote it. I'm not going to check right now. So you just write down, and it's interesting to see different. So I'll take this one example that has come up here. Work with consistency. So what will help you become consistent? Work with my personal. Okay. Take the first step and a step every day. Superb. And aware of my thoughts during the day. Wonderful. Connect to my inner self more. Lovely. Love yourself that way. And stay curious. Superb. That's curiosity is a wonderful question, wonderful quality. Desire to come out of the experience. Wow. And keep growing and changing on yourself. And have a meeting with myself. Wow. And keep learning. Super, super. Everybody respond. You're doing wonderfully well. Loving myself. Okay. And do what you love. Super. Self-discipline and punctuality. And being more aware and mindful of myself. Drop my past stories. Self-reflection. Super. Replying to work with consistency. Learning who I am. Who am I? Only positive self-talk. Talk to self. Lovingly. Then watch myself from the outside more often to get a perspective of my actions. Play lots. Yes. And connecting with oneself. Take the remote control back. Okay. Positive approach. Play with passion. Become more aware of my thoughts, feelings, and perceptions. Connect with my inner child. To reach super terrestrial circuit. Wow. Stay aware and present. More meditation, music, and play. Love myself, work towards changing. Reclaim my power. Great. and stay a child. Excellent. Take control of my life. Self-observation. Live in the moment. Okay. Now it has stopped coming. That means probably we have, oh, there, one more coming. Yeah, be mindful. Come on, come on. Last few minutes. Come out of my comfort zone. That was what was very often given as a reason for not changing. Excellent. Come on. Make your zone a little wider, not wilder. Just wider, wider, wider. Face the fear. Wonderful. Okay. So I think the flow has stopped, and thank you very much. And that is listed out here. Wonderful. I go back here. Now, before I go to the conclusion, I just want to say one thing. Oh, no. Okay. This thought that you have said now is a suggestion to yourself. Milton Erickson says, every word we say about ourselves is self-hypnosis. Watch your internal dialogue. That is your mitra. That is your friend. So your friend should talk well to you. If the friend starts kicking, say, hey, change your language. Mind your language. So the minute, and when we do that to ourselves, it becomes easier for us to talk to others in the same way. So personal transformation is about identifying what do I need in order to become better as a human being and achieve what I want, be who I want to be, and then be happy and peaceful in my life. That does not mean we are selfish. It just means we are realizing our potential and truly being honest to be the delightful self we are born with. We are all delightful souls born beautifully, but we have lost it in the process of socialization, marriage, family, work, blah, blah, blah. It's nothing wrong. It has to be through our body and mind and intellect only. How do we use those tools is our question. With the connection with the self, then we will not make a mistake. We won't be rude. We won't be sad. We won't be angry. We won't be scared because we have the inner self, which is a universal power within us. Swami Udit Chaitanya in Kerala, he says, when you go to Guruvayur and you say, Inde Guruvayurappa, don't look at the stone there, look at the Chaitanya within yourself. That is a representation. It's not the real self. So each of us can discover this, and it's very important to have tools to come out of it. This is where among the tools that I have used for myself and for my clients, I find NLP very useful. We are going to have a basic certification program in the month end. And this is how we learn to change. Now, I wanted to give you the gift of realizing you have yourself, access it, and then your mind will find a way to do it. So then I have just 3 minutes. If somebody wants to ask a quick question, please do it. Otherwise, we come to the last slide, which is the thank you one. All right. So now this is a suggestion you've given yourself, which you will do. And thank you all for taking part today. You can take a pic of this. You can contact it when you want. And now I'm open to questions. You can unmute and ask because the number is manageable. Yes. Who wants to ask a question before we leave? I'll leave it open to you. Yes, Anju.
Thank you, ma'am. It was very inspiring. And do you have any follow-up session coming up? And do you facilitate meditation too?
More than me, there are other people who are qualified to teach you meditation. There are many schools of meditation. Buddha says there are 80,000 ways of meditating. But find a source near you. Find a source near you, or get into one of those apps which teach you how to meditate, but start meditating. Initially, it won't be easy. It will be, your mind will get distracted. To reach that will take a few janmas, but it is worth it. Every day, sit quietly and watch your breath. That is the easiest, simplest way. Watch your breath. You're breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Automatically, your mind will come. Your mind will go somewhere like a monkey, bring it back and say, watch the breath.
I could correlate with my spiritual awakening. And
different schools, different ways. Art of Living says one way, heartfulness, mindfulness, transcendental meditation, anything. All of them are different routes to the same place, which is the inner self. That's it. Choose one and then consistently do that.
And do you take any other for personal transformation changes? Because I needed to understand and learn the NLP. I think you would be
Yeah,
the
you can
best
join
teacher
the
to do.
program. You can join the program and that will change you from inside out. Definitely. We'll send you the brochure.
That was
Any
very
questions?
lovely presentation, I would say, and they're very inspiring.
Thank you, Anju. Thank you.
The
Swati?
women actually challenge to, accept themselves, as you stated. In the 30s, it was like shameless. It was like, I think, a story of every woman, I would say.
Oh, yes, including me. Please.
Yes.
Every one of us.
Yes.
Every one of us. Can I move to Swati? Swati, please ask.
Yeah, thank you so much for a wonderful session. I had a question about, you said something about hypnosis and stuff at the beginning. Do you also conduct courses on that?
Hypnosis, there are different people do it. I run a certificate program from NFNLP. I'm a platinum master trainer, so I run 3 levels: basic, masters, and trainer level. The programs are for 40 hours each, and so it's a doable one. Like this month, and we have a program. And when somebody had asked the chat, can NLP, what are the techniques to do in NLP? And it is possible to use a lot of NLP techniques to change our life. And actually NLP, more than techniques, it is a perspective change that actually brings about. And now I just delightfully, I'm discovering many of the principles that are there in NLP are already there in our Vedanta. So it's authenticated. A lot of research has come in to prove that. Yes. Thank you. Any question?
Mama, I do have a question. Can I go ahead?
Please, Anubhuti.
So everything was very informative. It landed really well, except for just one point when you mentioned on one of the slides, we need to see the positive intention behind every behavior around us, including everybody's behavior. How do we take that in the context of abuse?
See, for
Especially
example,
if you have lived it,
especially if
you've lived it at a personal level, how do we reconcile that and see positive intention behind?
And if that's an example, I can give you some extreme examples. Let me take an ordinary example. If a parent is scolding a child, if a husband or wife is getting angry with the spouse, if for a moment we react, because we are patterned, conditioned like that. If for a moment we ask, why is this person? What is the intention behind this? What is the positive intention? The minute we get that, we become less judgmental. That is my learning. The minute don't go to extreme examples, go for ordinary misunderstandings. And then you will find once you go to the positive intention, then we are not that angry. We may still not agree, but we are not that angry. That will release the block of, I'm stuck with this person. For example, one of my participants came and said she has a very verbally abusive husband. What do I do? This was the last day of the program. And then we discussed and I said, you need to change the way you look at him. So she came up with a very brilliant idea. I'm going to change his voice to Mickey Mouse. So when he speaks, I will hear his voice as Mickey Mouse's voice. No. And the next time he started shouting and she was changing the voice in her head. She was actually not getting angry or upset. She was enjoying it. And he started sensing something was different about her. He said, why are you so different? And she said, no, I understand where you're coming from. The fights came down. It didn't stop, but it came down. Her reaction was not automatic. She said, oh, I don't have to suffer every time he shouts. I'm giving a very extreme example because sometimes it's very difficult to accept somebody who is abusive is actually having a positive intention. It's for them. The positive intention is for them. How do I convert it to myself? So if that is making me angry, will I become more independent? So the positive intention behind this behavior is to make me more independent. I can rephrase it. I can choose not to suffer this. Walk out.
So it can propel us to take the right action to safeguard ourselves.
Exactly. See, what is a positive? He's not or she's not able to tolerate, then I can say, okay, the positive intention is the person is not able to bear with my presence. I might just take myself out of the situation. If that's what I want. So we need to ask this question, what do I want?
Right. Thank you.
Anybody else? You've crossed 8 o'clock. You can leave if you want. Thank you, Badri. Long time. Yes.
I think Sriram is there. Then you just tell about the stream live and thank him.
Yeah. Stream Live. This is Lux. He's the director. He's a co-founder and director of Stream Alive, which is the one I used. And I'm sure, how was the experience for all of you to see your answers on screen when it worked? The first instance and the last instance, it worked. When you saw your answers there, how was that experience? Unmute and talk, please. Unmute.
It was
Yeah,
enjoyable. It grew.
Yeah.
It
So-
curious me to interact with you.
So Stream Alive is the one that he has created, and I thought I'll use it this time. And I'm very happy with the way it worked. At least, even though the clouds didn't come, the list came, and so we could access it. So it was wonderful. Thank you so much, Lux, for making it possible for me to use it for this group. Would you like to say a few words?
No, thank you. I'd like to think of, first of all, I'm Lakshmanan Narayanan, nicknamed Lux, and so a lot of people call me that. I'm one of the co-founders at Stream Alive, and I'm happy to take credit for what my team really built. Our idea was, we thought that it's high time that these kind of sessions where you have one-to-many interactions move from one where people's responses are not always taken on board and are often ignored, to people being a lot more engaged. And the solution was ridiculously simple. Give the audience a voice in real time through what we call visual interactions. Right? And I like to think of what we created as a canvas. And each time we see, a skilled facilitator doing something amazing on that canvas, and it was amazing to see what you've done today with those prompts. It just punctuates the conversations, gets everyone's opinions in there, sees that there is a certain collective sense of commonality that kind of binds us all, even if we are different and diverse. And I think that's beautiful to see, right? Because otherwise there's a certain distance that happens, especially in these digital forums. So glad to see you using it. And to the other folks, if you run any sessions or all hands or town halls or anything, feel free to check us out at streamalive.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Lux. Thank you so much. It made a lot of difference, because I could feel and sense where they were coming from, and that is very important. So thank you all so much. I say good night here, and we will be sending you the brochure for NLP just for your information. And if it interests you, please come. It's a very interactive, experiential program, and we've been running it for the past 20-25 years, and it's quite successful online. So it's very conveniently from your own house you can attend. Max, can you stay back for a minute?
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a delight listening to you today.
Thank you,
so much.
Thank you, Patri. My regards to your parents.
Definitely, ma'am. I'll convey. It will bring a lot of happiness there.
Thank you, Hema. Thank Hemaji for periodically sending messages.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you.
Hi, Abhi.
Hi, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Lovely to see my participants. Yeah, Ram Singh and Maharaja is also there. Nice. Thank you so much for all of you coming.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not going to close because I'm waiting for all of you to go.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshmi.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you, Kishore. Thank you so much.
I just thought of approaching you regarding this program. It will be with you today. And actually, the thing is, like, I have a question.
You're not very clear. Your audio is not very clear.
Can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me? No. Yeah, 1 second.
That's better. Speak directly.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now better.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, like, I was working in Muscat actually for the past 8 years. And,
Can we take this offline? Can we take this offline? You have my number.
Yeah.
Contact me on WhatsApp.
Yeah, I just want her to participate in this program further. That's why.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, fine, ma'am. Thank you. I come to offline. Yeah, thanks.
Sure. Many of them I could not see because I was running it is impossible to see participants when we are running the program. But it was nice. Okay. Lux, you have, shall I send you the link again for a minute?
Sure.
Because I want
So are we staying back here? waiting for everyone to leave, or we rejoin the meeting? Whatever.
Stay back here because the event is here, no? Is it possible to access otherwise? We can go again and access it, no?
Yeah, if you